can you do this to another human being? Started pushing me, her daughter punched me in the face. I was actually very traumatized.
David Menzies for Rebel News here in Toronto. Well, folks, this is an incredible story. It's a bit of a sidebar to the Queen's Park protest. Lejla went out to this protest with her sons to, well, stand up for freedom like so many of the other protesters. At Women's College Hospital, she asked the directions to Queen's Park and talk about being in the wrong place at the wrong time and encountering the wrong individual. Just wait till you hear Lejla's story. So, Lejla, as I said in the introduction, you were going out to attend the Queen's Park protest number 4 on Saturday. You parked around Women's College Hospital. You're very close to the vicinity of Queen's Park. You saw another lady, perhaps in her 30s, and you went up to her, and then what happened?
I was actually walking from Bay subway station. I was looking for Queen's Park. I wasn't sure where it was, and I was there with my 3 children. And a lady was coming towards me. I think she was walking to her car, and I was going this way. And I asked her if she can tell me where's Queen's Park, and she said, "Why, are you going to the protest?" And I said, "Yes." And she said, "Well, I'm not going to tell you then." And I said to her, "You're not going to tell me where Queen's Park is because I'm going to the protest?" And as she was getting into her car, she said yes. She started swearing, calling me names, saying that I'm an irresponsible mother because I'm taking my children to get exposed to the virus or to spread the virus or something like that. And she came behind me, and I turned around. She ran up to me and she threw her coffee all over me. The coffee was on my hair, my face, my jacket, my pants, everywhere. I was in shock. I came towards her and I said to her, "How can you do this to another human being?" Because they asked you where's Queen Street. You know what I mean? I was upset. And I said to her, "You need to do something. You need to clean my jacket. You need to clean my face. You need to do something here." Once she realized that I'm not interested in being physically violent, because I was not, I just wanted to talk to her. She started pushing me. Her daughter punched me in the face.
Oh, wait a minute. Her daughter punched you. Now, first of all, to go back to what you said earlier, Lejla, she was saying you're a bad role model for your children, and yet here she is dousing you with coffee in front of her teenage daughter, and the daughter sucker punches you. The apple doesn't roll far from the tree, as the saying goes.
Well, that's what I thought. She was accusing me of being an irresponsible mother, where she throws her coffee on me in front of her daughter, which leads to her daughter punching me in the face. When her daughter punched me in the face, my glasses flew off, and I yelled to my kids to call the police. And keep in mind that my 2 teenagers who are taller than me didn't get involved. I went around to her car door and I said to her, "You can't leave because the police is on their way." So she grabbed me, she pushed me out of the way, she got into the car, and at that point a man came out of the women's hospital because I guess they heard a noise, and my youngest daughter was crying. So he came out, and when he came out, he started walking over to her because she got into a car, and I stepped in front of her car. I said, "You're not going, you have to wait for the police to come." And she started driving towards me.
And when the police came, what happened then, Lejla?
Well, it took a few hours, but she was charged with assault and assault with weapon. They handcuffed her for a moment, and then they released her. They said that the reason why she's being released is because due to COVID-19, they're not going to take her into a jail cell, but that she's being charged with assault and assault with weapon.
What about the daughter who sucker punched you?
She was not charged at all, and that's something that I have inquired with the detective at this point.
This is absolutely fascinating, and of course these are all allegations until they're proven in a court of law, but she has been charged, and significantly I believe the detective said to you, Lejla, that Women's College Hospital has a lot of surveillance cameras.
Yes, the detective told me that the hospital camera has caught this.
I thought we lived in a society where we can agree to disagree, but not only is she disagreeing, she's using vulgar language, calling you terrible names, and then is getting physical. What do you make of this?
It's the level of fear that's being promoted currently, probably especially in the mainstream media, which is what most people watch. And most people are terrified. They're very scared. Even though it shows now that this virus is not more deadly than actually many other diseases that we have already been dealing with in our society.
This is just a terrible situation, I think, Lejla, because you told me off camera this was the first protest you've ever gone to. My cameraman Moke and I, we've been at all four. It's an incredible vibe there. People just want to get back to work, get back to school. There's no ugliness, really. And what you encountered, I would say, from the other side, was extremely ugly.
Basically, the way we are being portrayed, as you can see by that lady's reaction, is that we have no respect for other people's lives. If we are, and that's a very serious accusation. This is what they're being taught. These people are being taught that we have no respect for other people's lives. That almost makes us murderers in a way. And if they believe this, they're going to feel that they're justified to attack me in the way that she did. Most alarming thing is the fact that experts in health and science are being silenced.
And you know, you're right on the money there too, Lejla, because we have had in the last several weeks an interview with a nurse at an Ontario hospital, an interview with a doctor at an Ontario hospital, where they paint a radically different picture. It's not a war zone in there. In fact, they're being sent home early. This doctor's been putting in 14-hour shifts with literally not seeing a single patient, something he's never seen in his decades of medical service, yet people are dying on the elective surgery list, and yet these individuals, we've had to blur their faces and distort their voices because of potential repercussions. And you experienced that just by, you know, going en route to a protest. And that is such a shame that children would be put in a state of fear for merely exercising a fundamental charter right, which is freedom of assembly, freedom of expression.
We're not allowed to have those charter rights right now, so.
Did you suffer any kind of, you know, physical damage as a result of the altercation?
Well, when her daughter punched me in the head, I don't know if it was my glasses when they flew off that made a cut at the top of my nose, or if it was the actual punch. But my glasses flew off the head. I got a cut at the top of my nose, and my head was basically hurting me up here for a couple of days in my forehead and around my eyes. I was actually very traumatized. I was shaking for 3 days. I couldn't sleep. It was actually very shocking to me that something like that actually happened.
Well, it is a shocking story, and I guess in summary, Lejla, I'm so happy you are going back to the protest on Saturday, because if fear and intimidation tactics and outright physical violence, illegal physical violence, deter good people from standing up, then that side has won. But clearly it's not deterring you, correct?
That's right.
Well, there you go, folks. What's the moral of this story? I don't know, maybe refer to Waze or Google Maps when you're in the city of Toronto. You just never know what someone is thinking. And as Lejla discovered, unfortunately, what this person was thinking was just vile thoughts, and she matched those vile thoughts with odious actions. When this goes to trial, you better believe we're going to be there to cover this. For Rebel News, I'm David the Menzoid Menzies. Hey folks, have you heard the news from Ontario Premier Doug Ford? Not only is school out for summer prematurely, but get a load of this, summer camp has been cancelled. Yes, there'll be no outdoor sleepover camps in Ontario, but why? It doesn't make sense. And if you feel the way we do, please go to our petition. That's opensummercamp.com. That's opensummercamp.com. Put your name on that petition, and after we assemble enough signatures, I will deliver it to the Premier in person.